Ever wonder what happens when an HOA oversteps its bounds? I'm James Harper, and last Tuesday my storage containers became the focal point of a federal investigation. Picture this: 3 sheriff's deputies, guns drawn, encircling the young HOA president who, just moments before, had cut the locks on my property. There she was, hands behind her head, like something out of a MOE. What she didn't realize was that the ATF had authorization to store EVY Denke in those containers. Are your property rights truly safe when someone with a clipboard thinks they control your land? Let me introduce myself properly. I'm James Harper, 62, a retired Marine with 27 years of active service to this nation, 3 combat tours, and a collection of medals I rarely mention. Since leaving the Corps, I've done consulting work for various government agencies. That's all I'll say about it. Back in 2005, I bought my 5 acres in rural Dawson County, Alabama, long before Oakwood Heights was even a concept. It was peaceful countryside than just what a man like me, who's seen what I've seen, needs in retirement. I built a simple house, planted trees, and set up 2 shipping containers for my work equipment. Everything was fine until last year when the county rezoned our area, placing my land under the jurisdiction of the Oakwood Heights Homeowners Association. They claimed the rezoning ensured consistent community standards, but I was there first. My containers were legally placed, well-maintained, and most importantly, on my property. Trouble brewed when Laura Bennett became HOA president. She's around 35, a transplant from Seattle, always dressed like she's late for a corporate meeting even when trudging through dirt. She's the type to measure your lawn with a ruler and snap photos if your mailbox flag isn't just right. Our first encounter? She didn't bother with introductions, just started photographing my containers from my property line. "Those need to go," she said, not even glancing my way. They violate HOA Code Section 12.3. I explained my property was grandfathered in, backed by county records. She gave me a tight smile, the kind people flash when they think they hold all the cards, and said, "We'll see about that, Mr. Harper. I've faced insurgents and dictators overseas. I wasn't about to be rattled by a woman with a clipboard and an inflated ego. But I didn't yet grasp how far she'd push her what was at stake. 3 days later, the first citation arrived: unsightly storage units decreasing property values. Fine, do law $250 per container per day until removed. That's do law $500 daily for containers predating the HOA by years. I called the county and spoke with Tom Grayson, an official I've known for decades. "You're grandfathered in, Jim," he assured me after reviewing the files. "They can't force you to remove anything built before their rules applied." With his paperwork in hand, I marched to the HOA office, a gaudy little building with fake columns like a wannabe courthouse. Laura was there typing away. "This citation's invalid," I said, slapping the county docs on her desk. "My containers went up in 2006. Your HOA started in 2023. She barely skimmed them. "Exemptions can be overruled if community standards are impacted, Section 18.4 of the bylaws. Not under county law," I shot back. She sighed, like I was a kid missing the OBVYS. "Mr. Harper, we all sacrifice for the community's greater good. Your military pass doesn't exempt you from CIVYC duty." The way she sneered "military past" like it was some weekend hobby set my teeth on edge. "The law exempts me, Ms. Bennett, not my CIVYC." She promised to review my case, but the harassment only ramped up. Daily, Laura or her board cronies would cruise by, snapping pics of my property. I installed security cameras not just for them but because my work demanded it. One board member, Greg Tanner, cornered me at the hardware store. "No hard feelings, Harper, but Laura's on a mission. She wants Oakwood Heights uniform, says exceptions look sloppy." "It's my land, Greg." He leaned in, voice low. "Between us, I think it's bigger than that. Developers want your 5 acres to link the north and south phases of their project." That clicked. This wasn't about looks, it was about forcing me out. I filed a complaint with the county, scoring a small win when they confirmed my grandfather clause and made Laura drop the initial fine. But she didn't quit. New citations rolled in. Improper fencing, unauthorized cameras, subpar landscaping, each more absurd than the last, all meant to break me. She didn't get that Marines don't break, we adapt. I recorded every encounter, every trespass when they'd step onto my land for photos. My cameras caught Laura measuring my containers at 5:31 a.m. "This is harassment," I told her when I confronted her. She didn't blink. This is enforcement, Mr. Harper. If you can't follow standards, maybe Oakwood Heights isn't for you. I was here before it existed, I said. That cold smile again. Things change. People adapt. She had no idea how her enforcement would soon land her in a federal mess. What Laura didn't know was that those containers weren't just for my gear. For 8 months I've been consulting for the Department of Justice's Joint Terrorism Task Force. My Marine training in explosive ordnance disposal made me a go-to for agencies needing my skills. 3 months back, ATF agent Mark Sullivan called. We need secure, off-the-book storage for EVY Denke in the Liberty Defenders case, he said over coffee at a diner near my place. Local lockups are leaking info. The Liberty Defenders were a militia plotting attacks on federal buildings. The ATF had raided their base in Tennessee but suspected cells elsewhere. My containers have reinforced doors, climate control, and a security system Fort Knox would envy, I told him. But I've got this HOA hassle. He grinned. We'll handle county permissions. This is national security, not neighborhood aesthetics. Within days, classified paperwork was filed, and the ATF upgraded my containers with high-tech locks, motion sensors, and a direct alert to their office. The EVY Denke neutralized explosive parts from the militia, cataloged and sealed for a federal trial. I took this duty seriously. Those containers held proof of a thwarted disaster. Meanwhile, Laura's crusade intensified. Citations piled up. She even sent HOA notices smearing my property to turn neighbors against me. Her fixation on my containers grew. What's in there, Mr. Harper? She demanded. Once eyes narrowed. The board's concerned about hazardous materials. My business is my business, I said. Everything's legal. We'll see, she replied, her tone a quiet threat. I underestimated how far she'd gone, how dangerous her obsession would get. By mid-October, her tactics escalated. Drive-bys became constant. The HOA hired private security, 2 ex-cops with egos to match tow, monitor compliance. I caught one, a burly guy named Vince, on my land, photographing my locks. That's trespassing, I yelled from my porch. He shrugged. Public safety inspection. This is private property, I said. He took more pics before sauntering off. Citations kept coming. Unregistered locks, excessive signage, fines hit due law $12,000. Laura threatened a lien. I called Sheriff Dan Carter, an old Marine buddy turned lawman. They're pushing hard, Dan. I'm worried. What's next? I hinted at the container's federal tie without spilling details. They can't enter without a court order, he said. But HOAs can get sneaky. I'll up patrols. I added cameras and posted federal notices warning tampering was a crime. Laura's reply? A letter claiming the sign's VYOLAT aesthetic guidelines and demanding proof of federal status. I alerted Agent Sullivan. They're challenging the notices, I said. They're in over their heads, he replied. Keep me posted. On November 12th, I had a VA appointment in Montgomery, 120 miles away, for an old back injury. Before leaving, I checked my security, everything locked tight. Halfway there, my phone pinged, motion sensors tripped. The camera feed showed Laura's SUV, another board member's car, and a locksmith van in my driveway. Laura, in her crisp suit, directed a locksmith toward my containers. I called my security company, unauthorized access, send help. Then Dan. They're breaching federal containers. Deputies are rolling, he said. I turned back, but I was 2 hours out. Through my phone, I watched the locksmith cut my locks. Federal seals broken. I used my system speaker. This is James Harper. You're trespassing and tampering with federal property. Leave now. Laura smirked, waving a paper. This is a health and safety inspection, Mr. Harper. Your refusal forced emergency access under bylaw 22.7. That's meaningless against federal law, I barked. She nodded to the locksmith. Proceed. They opened both containers, handling sealed EVY Denke boxes. I called Sullivan. They're in. ATF's en route, he said. Sheriff's coming. Don't let them take anything. Deputy Ryan Holt arrived first, hand on his gun. Laura emerged holding an EVY Denke box marked explosive components. Officer, we've found concerning items, she said brightly. Ma'am, put that down and step back, Holt ordered. She bristled. We're inspecting now, he snapped. She complied as 2 more deputies arrived, guns out. On your knees, hands up. Laura knelt last, fuming. The ATF rolled in Agent Sullivan and tactical agents. Secure the scene, he commanded. Karen stared as hazmat teams arrived. I pulled in 20 minutes later, my quiet land now a crime scene. They handled 3 packages, Sullivan told me. We're checking chain of custody damage. Laura, handcuffed, looked defeated. What were they thinking? I muttered. Entitlement, Sullivan said. Sheriff Carter clasped my shoulder. Hell of a mess, Jim. The ATF arrested Laura, her board cronies, and the locksmith. Laura cried, misunderstanding. One board member, Ellen Price, admitted a cousin tied to the militia, shocking us all. The developer angle emerged too. Laura confessed they'd targeted my land for a big payout. The fallout was swift. The community ousted the HOA board, electing new leaders. County and state laws tightened HOA powers. Laura got 8 years in prison, her accomplices lesser terms. The developer collapsed under scrutiny, their land sold for a veterans park. My containers, now empty, stand as a symbol. In America, your home is your castle, and sometimes it takes federal cuffs to remind folks of that.